Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, we are live, ladies and gents. We are live. So I'd like to welcome you all onto my platform. As I say, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are across the globe. Welcome to another On the Sofa with yours truly, Esther Austin. I did an incredible interview earlier today with Tim Owens. He's from the Earth, Wind and Fire experience group with Al McKay, and they're going to be in Norwich on the 9th of June, singing lots of the Earth, Wind and Fire songs. So I'm having a good day today, and the sun is shining. And now, as I come to the end of the day, I've got two fantastic gentlemen on the show with me today, and it's a Tuesday show called Words of Wisdom. So welcome, everyone. So, Trevor, can you
Oh,
hear me?
yes, I can hear you. Thank you so much indeed for having me on. It's a pleasure to be on, and I'm super excited to be speaking to all your followers and sharing our experience. So thank you.
Fantastic. And Johnny, oi, oi, oi.
Oh,
Welcome.
yeah, okay. Calm down now, calm down. No, it's a pleasure. Thank you very much. Yes, again, to all your followers and listeners out there, I do believe this is going to be a great show. It's a great time, it's a great platform to be sharing this with Trevor and yourself, Esther. So I appreciate the conversation. I'm looking forward to the conversations as we
Brilliant.
have.
Brilliant. Well, I usually like to ask my guests before I go any further. I ask this rather laborious question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. I usually ask, who is Trevor and who is Johnny in a nutshell, in a peanut shell, or a crab shell? So I'm going to go over to Johnny since you are sort of on screen majorly at the moment. Who is Johnny in a nutshell, in a peanut shell, in a crab shell?
Oh, where do you want to start? Okay, myself, I run a charitable organization called Mixed Martial Arts for Reform and Progression, known as MMARAP. We use MMA as a vehicle to enrich and empower those from disadvantaged backgrounds, deaf, blind, and disabled people using mixed martial arts and educational backgrounds. Uh, Apart from that, I jump out of planes.
He jumps out of
Why are
plane.
you laughing? What's so funny?
I'm joining you one day, right? So I'm just gearing myself up. So hopefully throughout this interview, I'll get more insight into what it entails to jump out of a plane. And you just never know, by the end of the show, you may have caught my attention to jump out of the plane with you. So there we go. That's why I'm laughing, Johnny, building myself up. Thank you for that. Thank you. And Trevor, what about you? Who is Trevor in a nutshell, in a peanut shell, or an oyster shell?
Yes, I'm Trevor Jeremiah Carter, and I'm a family of eight. I'm the youngest, and my mum, when she was around, she still called me the baby, even though I was not a baby at that age. I don't know why she still called me that. But growing up, I was brought up I got involved in the community activity, public sector. I used to be a counselor, I used to be a coach. So for 18 years, I'm working in the community. And then I wanted to do something a little bit more different, a bit more flavor and taste. I kind of left that and I wanted to go into real estate with a friend of mine. We ended up owning a real estate in my hometown. And that's where things really took off for me to be really focusing on what I want to do. Finally, it's happened. And at the present moment, I've got my own online letting agency, and I also setting up a marketing business for self-start entrepreneurs, and I'm also a coach. I'm a stress relief and emotional intelligence coach. So that's me.
Fantastic, fantastic. And that's why this show today is the Tuesday show called Words of Wisdom. And what the ethos of the show is to engage with individuals, to share some of their challenges, some of their vulnerabilities, and then to share what were the tools, what were the techniques, what was, some of the things that you use to get you through and what still supports you in those places. And I know for you, Johnny, you've talked about, but I remember when I met you a couple of weeks ago, and you mentioned it's part of your mental health, I would say, regime. Um, Tell us a little bit more about the skydiving and why do you do that, and also how has it supported you, impacted on you? throughout some of your own personal challenges? Because, you know, we all have different things that we turn to. Mine is music and exercise and walking. So over to you, Johnny.
Yes, thank you. I believe we all humans are face mental health at some stage in their life. I always believe that you have to find or have an outlet. Some people go to the gym, some people, walk the dog, swimming, music, art, painting, whichever takes their fancy. And for myself, is jumping out of aircrafts. And at first, I've been doing it for 5 years. So at first, it was like, it's yes, I'm jumping out of a plane, great. And then I actually fell in love, or the sport fell in love with me. So we've got this connection. And now I I look at it as very therapeutic. Yes, this sport is very extreme, very dangerous, but it does humble you, if you don't treat it carefully. But along with that, I say going towards a drop zone, you're at the drop zone, you're getting your kit ready, entrance to the aircraft, you're in the aircraft, it's all a journey. And it helps me in such a way as to why I go back. Why do I go back? It brings me peace. It's tranquil. It's bliss, and you're in control. Well, you have to be in control, but you're in control, and you do forget about not a lot of things, but everything. And once I land, it's a drug. I want to do it again because it's now taken away all those um, traumatic incidents that happen throughout the day, all those negative quotes, comments, or whatever unsavory that you faced throughout your week or your day. One jump could erase and reduce a lot of those. So this is me until my last breath. I hope it's a long one, but yeah, this is why I skydive.
Okay, okay. And I was going to be cheeky because you said this is me until my last breath, and I was going to say, well, let's hope you keep landing safely.
Absolutely. They always say a happy jump is a happy and successful jump is when you land and you're smiling. So I'm with some. The community is fantastic. He's welcomed me with great arms. He's shown me how to progress in the right manner, and yeah, I feel that this is my new home. I feel that I've built a new family, and yeah, I look forward to going back to a drop zone and jumping with my peers.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I want to come back to you and ask you the question about when you first jumped and what did that feel like? And how did you manage the fear, if you felt any fear at all? And maybe with that first jump, was there a situation or did something happen where you thought, you know what, I need to do something else that's going to help me manage my mental health? Or maybe it was just something you've always wanted to do. Actually, let's ask you that now. Trevor, just give me one moment. Yeah. So what was the initial reason why you started jumping, Johnny?
I thought I landed my head and put some sense into me, but it never happened. So I continued. So no, my first job was at Peterborough in Simpson. I do remember it was a friend of mine that asked me to do a skydive. Cut the chase. I said yes. Got to the drop zone. I jumped. I landed. The cameraman asked me how was it. As most people would say, it was fantastic. They kept recording, asked me would I do it again. I said no. So I saw a lot of frowns on their faces. One of the cameramen said to me, "Oh, why is that?" So I said to him, "I want to do the calls." And the next minute, all the faces had jeered and laughed and with glee. So yeah, but like I say, I continued doing this because I felt something was missing, part of my life, my journey, and I wasn't able to find or recognize or identify what it was. Sometimes you are searching for a purpose, and you're just navigating. Sometimes you don't know where you're looking or you don't know where you're going until that purpose finds you. And yeah, this is I think I found my purpose, and I want to give back to the Skyline community.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you for that. We're going to circumnavigate back to you shortly. Trevor Carter. I've known Trevor for quite a long time. We haven't been in touch. I mean, I see him on Facebook, no, on LinkedIn predominantly, but Trevor has always been someone that I know who he's always just doing something. He's always evolving self. He's always doing things that touch people's lives. So Trevor, can you share a little bit about yourself in the capacity as being an emotional stress relief coach, and what brought you to him? What was the purpose of you doing this going down this particular road?
Yeah, good question. It goes back to 8 years ago. I was in a caring capacity for my wife, for my sister, and my mum. And my wife had a condition. I ended up looking after her. My sister had a stroke, and my mum had dementia. And so, as you know, as a family, we have to make sure we look after our mum. And that was a great responsibility. And we weren't living in the same cities, by the way. My mum was further away, probably like an hour drive. My sister was quite nearby, and then obviously I had my wife. And what I noticed was I realized I was taking on too much, the caring responsibility. And it was 4 years, 7 days a week, caring 24/7. And that allowed me to realize my time for what I want to do, it was never there, it was gone. My social life wasn't really there. I had to go down to my sister. I had to get on the bus. If I didn't have a car, I had to go to her, do the shopping, get in her car, leave her, make sure she got to bed all right. Then I leave there, go to my wife, put her to bed. Then have my son. I have to look after him, get him washed, look after my wife and get him to school. And then sometimes I have to go all the way down to my mum's town, and that was on the train. And sometimes I couldn't get out the house because with that kind of condition she had, you had to make sure she was looked after. And again, our family was spread all over, we weren't together. So only a few of us could take responsibility. So again, my mum, I sometimes had to stay overnight. And this was a cycle for 7 days a week. And you can imagine the capacity, the brain, the stress, how it got onto you. And it was a normal thing for me to keep going, but it wasn't normal for me to stop. I just didn't know when to stop. And I didn't know when to say no. And I'm sure most of you from the Caribbean background, with our mum, she don't like to have anybody from outside to look after her. It has to be you. And sometimes you have to say, look, I can't do it right now, but I'll get somebody in. And so you have to monitor that. So what happened? Stress built up, tremendous stress. I couldn't get back into work as often. If I did 1 or 2 weeks, and then I was back to caring again because the time I had was very, very limited. So what happened, the stress was so high that sometimes I had to walk around town 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning just to release myself. Because talking to somebody who'd never experienced it, or somebody say, oh, don't worry about it, things is fine, it would not beneficial to me. So I had to walk away from friends, and I had to monitor and work on myself. Because not a lot of people understand if you share what you're sharing. And it becomes a pushback experience where people say, oh, don't worry about it, you'll sort yourself out. And that's when I realized I'm stressed, proper stress. Sometimes I put my keys down, I don't know where my keys are. Sometimes things will go, I didn't even know the difference between day and night. That's how much the stress was going on because of the caring capacity. So what I did then, I said, you know what, this has to change. And the way it made me stop and think was when I asked myself this question: what if I go? Who's going to look after my wife and my son? That hit me so hard. And that was a question to myself internally. And when I realized that, I was like, wow, if I go, who's going to look after them? So I said, nah, this has to stop. So I had to put things in place and say to people no and start working on it. And I did remedies, alkaline water, I did greens. I went straight into remedies and herbs with my sister, thanks to her. She's been in the National Health Service for a number of years. I work with her still. And from the Caribbean, we had herbs and stuff.
That's right.
And that's what kept me going. And I got into it, I was like, wow. But the main thing as to what really turned things around was the alkaline was good, the green juicing was good, all these things were good. But that didn't really get me out of my situation. What got me out of the situation was the mindset. And I was able to reverse my depression without any medication. And that's how I am back on track. I'm healthy. In fact, I'm 4 times healthier and stronger than ever before. So that was a real challenge for me. It wasn't all the remedies and the herbs, the alkaline water. That was good, but it's how we're thinking. It's the brain. And that's how I end up saying, you know what? Stress relief in emotional intelligence coach. And that's where it ended.
Oh, wow. I'm looking forward to sort of unpeeling what that looks like and how you utilize that, not just in your life, but in the life of the clients around you. So, Johnny, back to you. Back to you, Johnny. You mentioned about martial arts. I'm saying quite a lot today. No Right. You mentioned martial arts. Tell us a little bit more about what you do around martial arts and the type of clientele that you work with, Johnny.
Yes, I started, well, it was registered in 2012. So obviously prior to that, I've always been in mixed martial arts for basically most of my life. Legally, I was fighting in the streets. So, legally I found a unit. But anyway, yeah, I saw a niche. I saw that there wasn't enough for those who are with disabled conditions. So 2012 is when I formed MMARAP. It's mainly primarily focused on those from disadvantaged backgrounds, deaf, blind, and disabled. Not to say that it is also inclusive to everybody else, but it is targeted for those. We get grants, we get funding. People do skydive, fundraise, and donations and so forth. But primarily is for them to. I just want to give back in the sense of enriching and empowering those people out there. I'm sick of the subject of hashtags. Many people that I know who are disabled, they work in a company, but they work there because they are disabled, not because of their skills. And I don't really, not really buy that, to be honest. So yeah, this is what I do, and together for 12 years, we teach all over London or many boroughs. We taught in prisons as well, and yeah, it's not made me a millionaire, but it's made me a very, very rich person within, in terms of what's the word, the outcomes of the participants that we engage with.
Brilliant. And I mean, a lot of what you do, Johnny, is giving back, like Trevor. There's a heart to give back. There's you know your purpose. And I mean, Trevor shared a lot about where he came from with why he does what he does now. What's been your journey? You don't have to share everything, but if you can just give us an insight into some of maybe the challenges or who you were before you started this body of work, or maybe you've always been this way. Usually there's a pivotal point in our lives when something happens and it shifts us into another direction. Was that your course, or were you always
And we've all got a childhood. We've all got a story. I won't say I was the type of person. Well, like, number one, I despise bullies. So I think at school I was like the protector. you know, um, people were having me to protect them in certain ways, but violence doesn't solve everything, and you can't fight fire with fire, and to fight evil is love. To fight hate is love, and why hate someone? I think for me, hating someone is using more energy to love someone. And so that's how I see life. That's how I see people, and everything in life or everything that I've encountered is my teacher. Down to the weather. People say, "Oh, it's raining." Oh, it is raining. We'll appreciate it because some people don't get to see it. And if you're not happy with the rain, then dress accordingly. So it's never a problem. There's always solutions. That's how I see things.
Yeah. And so if you were a superhero, John, what superhero would you be?
Me. I'll be me. I mean, no one else. Hey, one JB. Trevor, you're a nice guy. I like you. I'm sure you got history, but nah, I want to be me, yeah?
Yeah, the real deal.
I've got more hair than you as well. I'm keep it undercover, but no. Let it shine.
Yeah. I guess the next question would be what color cape would you wear?
What color cape?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Aha.
Not all, no, what do you mean, aha? Not all heroes has a cape. Wears a cape. That's my answer.
What's that?
Not all heroes, not all superheroes wears a cape.
That's true. That's true. I mean, everybody knows that I want to be an elf.
Well, congratulations. I want to be a tree. You know what I mean? No, but yeah, that's what I see life. You know, I've learned over the years, many years. I expect nothing and I accept everything. That way, I'll never be disappointed.
Hmm.
I
Okay.
don't.
Interesting.
Some
Interesting.
people are hard to receive that when I say that, especially when I encounter with them at meetings and so forth. But I go by this philosophy as well. Do you have a problem? Can you fix it? Then why worry?
Hmm. Why worry?
Why worry?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of our stress is in imagination, not in reality.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
If
Okay.
we reduce what's in our minds and focus on what we can handle, you will feel much better within yourself. And like you said, Trevor, it all starts within the mind. You know, happiness starts within the mind. If you are rich, it starts within the mind. You know, not that you have to be rich financially, but you can be rich within health. There's people that I know in person that are, you know, well-to-do, in fact, millionaires, and they're not entirely happy with their health or so forth. Happiness starts within the mind. You could be living in a shed and could be the richest person out there. Yes, we all want, you know, excuse me, we all deserve and want the lavish lifestyle, or some do, especially with the skydiving world. There's some skydivers I know that they live in a camper van. You know, they refuse to go and live in a house. They've got a camper van, and they're very happy with themselves, and I can actually align with them. So happiness starts within the mind. Yes, it's tough out there. We live in a tough world. Life is not supposed to be fair. Why should it be fair? But if you surround yourself with the right people, you will make it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. We're going to circumnavigate back to you shortly. And Trevor, this sort of nicely weaves into the work that you do as well in terms of the mind. So I'd like you to expand a bit more about a process that you may take a client through in terms of understanding their emotional, firstly, understanding their stresses and what their stresses do to them, and then how do you empower them to recognize and to realize the tools? There are tools that they can reach out and use.
Yeah, very good question. When I get clients come to me, the first thing I ask them is, the first thing I hear is the complaints, the worries, the heartache, this not working, that not working. And I have to say, stop. Everything you're thinking, is it true?
Mm.
Then they stop and think, oh, I said, we actually damage ourselves more than society damages, because the way we think, and the way we think become part of your personality, and we think it's normal, but actually damaging you. So
when you say damaging, so I'm going to pull this apart. So apologies for butting in. When you say damaging, can you expand on that?
Okay. Every word we speak that's negative, it blocks our development, our thinking capacity, even our work that we do, the people around us, in marriage, because we're using the wrong words. It's like a farmer, he plants a seed into the ground. He's not worried about the seed because he understands the process it has to go through. The earth looks after what it needs to do. Why would he worry and stress himself, oh, I'm going to put water to it and get the sun on? You don't worry about that. He's a qualified farmer with experience who understands the right harvest, when it's going to come and what's going to happen. When we use the wrong words, what kind of harvest are you building in your home? What kind of lifestyle are you building for your children by the wrong words and the negativity that you speak? That's what I mean by damage. So I'll give you an example. Let's do it this way, exercise for everybody. Let's think of somebody who you like and smile. Yeah. Now think of somebody who you don't like and smile.
Yeah.
You see, it's our thinking. It's the way we think. We become victims by the wrong ideology about ourselves or about other people. Now what's happening? We're going to cause a war now. We're going to start an internal war. So words are very important. I always learned the scripture said, the power of the tongue is life or death. And I'm going to show you how powerful words are. And we have to be careful how we use them over ourselves. Like when I was depressed, I kept saying, oh, I'm this, I'm that, I'm going through this. I was putting more blockages into my life, physically, mentally, and spiritually. So what happened now, I became a victim within my own journey, blaming myself and blaming other people. Now, everybody's good at that. We blame others, but we don't seem to look back and say, hold on a minute, where is the real problem of this harvest? Why isn't it growing? It starts with you. And that's how I begin to realize, working on myself over the years, I didn't realize when I worked on myself, all these issues came to the surface that I've never seen or never experienced in my life. Why? Because I worked on myself. And I found people spend too much time external and less time internal.
And why is that though? Do you feel, I'm going to just present this to both of you, because as you're talking, what I'm getting is a lot of people do the external thing because oftentimes they're afraid to look at themselves, and because society, there's a lot of fear and condemnation that you're brought up in, even and I'm just saying this loosely, so don't shoot me, anybody. But even when I used to go to church, and as a child, I used to be able to see beyond, and I used to sit there, and they're talking about I am poor and wretched, and using words that were not affirming, and that's why I personally stepped away because I couldn't understand the energy of that, and like you said, there's so much judgment that we come into, that we are told that we're not, we're born, and this is just me, if you keep getting told you're born in sin, you grow up with those negatives already put on you from from birth, and then it becomes a trajectory. But I guess everybody's different, because then you can get to the stage in life where something happens or someone comes into your space to show you a different way of thinking and seeing things and perceiving things. And so, would you say a lot of people do the projection because there's a fear of looking at the man in the mirror, like Michael Jackson said?
Right. Yeah, it depends on the walk of life from different people. Some people come from childhood experience where they've had so much negativity over their life from a young age. By the time they're 25, they can't even think for themselves. Mm. They just remember what their mother and father said, their girlfriend, their husband said, which was the wrong words that had an impact on psychologically on the person's mindset. That's one lifestyle. The other lifestyle is somebody may come from a real abusive experience from a young child. That's very difficult to let go. That's a process you have to go through. That's where coaching comes in. It could take them 2 years, it could take them 5 years, it could take them 10 years. That's not for me to force the person to say, hurry up, let's get onto it. My process is, let's take you through a journey, because I don't know how much damage that has done to that person.
Okay.
Some of these little experiences can damage us more than the big experiences. And that's what I've noticed.
Yeah, thank you.
I agree as well. Sorry to interrupt you. I agree, and a lot of us we have these paradigms. It's worse when you don't know what they are. But if you do know what they are and you can identify them, then you're on the right path. There's many people out there that are fighting, and yes, they have all the, as I said, the external extravagant stuff, but they're fighting something within themselves that some of them don't know what it is, which is sad. In one case, to seek help, but if you can identify what it is, which is even better, and then you're on the right path. We all got paradigms, no matter who you are.
Yeah. Okay. And I just want to say hello to all those who are listening. Gold Coast, hello. Pablito, hello. Timothy, hello. You're going to be on the show soon. Maria Hamilton, thank you for listening. And Julie and Lyndon and Andre, all of you, thank you for listening. If you've got any questions, I can try and field them to my guests. So tonight on the Sofa with Esther, the Tuesday show, Words of Wisdom, I've got Johnny and Trevor, and they are giving you words of wisdom, words of inspiration, and just sharing about their journey and the tools that they've used to overcome. So, Johnny, you said we've all got our own paradigms, and you're absolutely correct. And sometimes people want to step out of those paradigms. Sorry, sometimes people want change, but they don't know how to or where to. And if they do identify it, this whole thing of therapy often scares a lot of people, especially culturally. Um, if I've presented that well. So, what piece of advice would you share with someone who's really in this place of pain and they want to reach out? Because I usually say to people, if you go to see a therapist, nobody needs to know your business. Johnny.
Yeah, everyone's different. Everyone's, on different levels, different parts of their lives. What I can say is sit down and let your heart and your mind be still. Just be still. It will feel uncomfortable because your mind is a speeding race. Your heart's pumping, anxiety, a lot of things is going through, a lot of emotions going through yourself. Just sit down, let your heart and your mind be still. Take a good long walk. I'm using this from my experience and people who are told as well, because I do like to, I do help out people in certain times like this. Meditate. When you start doing that, especially when you're still, your body's gonna start feeling different. You're gonna start twitching a lot. Recognize it. Stop the twitching. It's all in the mind. You will overcome it. And some people who you talk to, those that you love and care for, may not understand you. So sometimes you may hear the answer from a total stranger, and the penny might drop. I've had it. I think we've all had it. You hear your mum telling you off back in the day, you're telling you or they're telling you something, but when you hear it from somebody else, then when you tell your mum, yeah, but I told you this a long time ago. So sometimes when you hear it from a different voice, it penetrates more. So whatever you're going through, whether it's mind, body, or spirit, seek what it is. Try and find that core. Maybe ask some of your siblings what happened. What has contributed to my life to become the way how I am? Don't look at anything bad, turn it positive. And I say to people in life, when you're low, feel high. When you're high, feel higher, be higher. And another thing as well, you never lose. Even if you lose, you still win because you always find something to look at and win. You have to change that mindset, as Trevor said.
There we go. Yeah, I was going to say to you.
It's all about the mindset. These devices that's in my hand, they're very pretty, very beautiful, and very expensive. That they can be very, very damaging. I know this is the new culture. I know this is the way forward with IT, technology and stuff. I get it, I understand it. But use these devices for your benefit, your purpose. What can you gain from this instead of scrolling on Netflix and bejezzles and that kind of stuff? Use it. There's information out there to help us. And also as well, you're not alone. You're not alone. The thing is that there's people out there going through this. I'm going to use this profound language. There's some people out there that's going through some real hard shit, but they hide it better than you. That's all it is. Everyone's going through shit, but it's just that they hide it better than you. And I'm not saying you've got to expose yourself, but gravitate to those that you can align with, share what you're sharing with. Sometimes be open. Don't have to be too vulnerable to them, because people who are vulnerable, they get abused, and I've seen it.
Yes.
But you will find that companion and you will align with them. Something will say to you, you know what? I can talk to this person. I may not know this person, but I can actually align and maybe share something. And for all you know, they may open up something that you may need to hear. So therefore, you both are aligned. it's a tough world. It's very horrible and ugly, but you got to get up. As I tell people, fall down 7, get up at 8.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I guess that's why also, if they want to join up to your skydiving course, it's a course that you run. Is that correct?
No. Oh, whoa, don't say that. These guys will shoot me if they hear about that. I've got a course. I ain't that qualified yet, girl.
Right.
Hey, woo,
So
you'll
if you
shoot me.
skydiving,
And me, I've got a course. No, what it is, on that topic, yeah, I've just well, I've recently just opened up a skydive. It's called Sky High Buffong. I run an advertising service where I promote and advertise people's banners, names, birthdays. By all means, ladies and gentlemen, and people, do visit my website, www.skyhighbuffong. It's spelled buffong.co.uk. Sky High Buffong. That's what we do. We fly banners, flags, t-shirts, promotional events, music, clothing wear, weddings. Please, check out the website. Also, as well, check out my other website. Excuse me. My other website for the charity, www.MMARAP.co.uk. It's pronounced MMARAP. Please visit that site. We appreciate all donations, and do drop us an email. I'm sure one of my team members will come back to you. And yeah, come and fly with me. Why not?
can I fly in my leprechaun suit then?
Listen, we've got drop zones for anything you want to wear. I'm telling you. Yeah, we've got drop zones. Wherever you are in England, name a place in England. Go on.
Ireland, because I'm a
So she goes to the other side. Well, look, there's a drop zone in Ireland. Don't worry about that. There's drop zones in Ireland. There's a drop zone in Scotland, Nottingham, wherever you want in UK. We will jump for you.
Okay, brilliant.
And even overseas.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you, Johnny. And Trevor, over to you. You gave us an insight into the process that you do with your clients, and Johnny really sort of emphasized that to be the power of stillness, the power to be still, and he's also said something that aligns with the need to be still, because then when you are still in that place, you can align with the right people, because in the stillness you are shown what you need to. And stillness can mean meditation, or it can mean prayer for different people. So can you add to that, Trevor?
Yeah, I think from my experience, what I have to do to overcome what I went through, you have to be honest with yourself.
Yes, authentic.
You have to be honest with number one is you, yourself. If it's painful, it means it's working. If it's not painful, it's not working. So somebody's been through something for 20 years, 30 years, and suddenly the blood start boiling over, they start getting a bit heretical and start getting a bit panicking. It means it's working, because you're touching areas that they've never touched before, and suddenly it comes to the surface. You have to be honest with yourself. Painful. And I can put it in a way, for example, in the right way. A woman going into labor, there's a lot of work she has to do to push forth that child. It's painful, but she has to do it to bring forth that child, and the child be delivered. The real work is with the woman. When she pushes forth, she's bringing forth a newborn child. Now, when you're going through generational curses, abuse, you got to push until it's painful. And I can guarantee you, when you've got over it, that pain will not be the same again.
Because the pain is transmuted. That pain, those things like generational curses, and other stuff, that different cultures or societies have experienced. A lot of people are afraid to face that, but the beauty is, and we're not saying it's easy, I'm just saying it's possible. It's possible. Yeah. But the beauty is, when you start that journey and you keep moving forward, then there is a rainbow, but it's not often easy to get there. And I think sometimes people, they hold back from moving forward because there is fear and there is the pain. But like you said, it's about pushing through. And when that child comes through the birth channel, you know, on the other side, there is a rainbow. And it may, like Johnny said, it may take you a short time, it may take you a long time, but the beauty is that, yes, you can.
Exactly. And this is something, I mean, number one, you have to be real with yourself. You have to be honest. Painful, okay, but it means it's coming to the surface. Number two, you have to start using the right words around yourself.
Mm.
You got to start thinking differently. What you used to do before it's not working, why are you still doing it? And it's not working. Change it, change the narrative, change your thoughts, change the kind of people you're hanging around with, and change your words. That's a process.
Yeah.
Once you've got those aligned together, you'll be surprised how quick your life shifts and moves. That's what happened to me. I begin to find myself like somebody behind me and pushed me, and I'm like, I'm out of that arena no more. It felt like somebody pushed me. Why? Because I spent time on those scenarios. I trained myself. I worked on myself. I acknowledged the signs. I acknowledged the signs that come to the surface. And when it comes to the surface, I said, right, you and me, we're going to fight, but you're not going to be going back to where I'm going to be. The other thing is, what kind of friends do you have around you that really destroying your development? Your thoughts, your life, your home. And what I learned about this to overcome depression is some people who are not aware of what you're going through, you're sometimes doing it to entertain them, to keep them happy.
Yes, because, yeah.
But you now go walk away, you're still the same one before you met the person, but nothing changed. And that's when somebody don't want to let go of what they're experiencing. They'd rather comfort the person. Sorry?
No, you finish, and I'll just, there's something that came to me when you were talking, so apologies.
Right. So it's a process. Also, change your environment. Go somewhere in a country. I love countryside. I mean, up where I am, there's a lot of countryside. I don't know about London, but up where I live, there's a lot of countryside. I find countryside where I can breathe. I can think. I take my notepad and I write down. You'll be surprised in a car in the countryside, you write probably 6, 7 pages because your thought now kicking off. It got time and capacity to think. The other thing is to be careful of, stop overthinking. We overthink too much. Sometimes overthinking and chronic stress can cause chronic illnesses. That's what I've learned for myself. It can cause bad bladder, high blood pressure, sleepless nights. When you're overthinking on something that's not really developing and benefiting you, it's going to cause chronic illnesses. And did you know, according to statistics and research, minor stress can kill. Just minor. And that's where people go down the line of mental health, depression, and etc. Just by a minor. What that person wants at that time is a little help. You were surprised on a little help. Even it's simple things like, come to my house, I'll cook your meal. Do you know by doing that, that person can override and probably say, you know what, I've never had nobody invite me into the home, and I've been locked up in my house for 22 weeks and nobody invited me. That took the person out of a mental health state just by you cooking a meal for the person. So there are lots of things that we can do that can change the environment. So I'm going to leave it there. So
no, I totally agree. And for the listeners out there, especially the old schools, 2 things. One of them I shared with you, Esther, but one thing is that go on your phone, yeah, by the end of the week, go on your phone and phone someone. Don't text them, how are you? How's things? Phone them. And ask them, how are you? Yeah. Instead of texting people, because we can easily text, and that, you know, someone can respond back, yeah, I'm fine. And are they fine? Or I'm doing well. Are they really well? Pick up the phone. I say, what's they say? Say Tuesday. By the end of the week, I say, everyone who's listening, phone 5 people in your phone that you've not spoken to or for a while, or if you have, and say to them, hey, how are you? Just checking on you. Just check, no, that's it. Number 2, again, go on your phone. Tonight, this is for tonight. You don't know, don't have to do it. I'm not charging you, but you can see you can pay for me later on anyway. I'll send you an invoice. But anyway, tonight, everyone, all you listeners, tonight, go on your lovely device, your phone, Android, what you want to call it. Delete no less than 7 numbers. It could be 10, 15, 20, 50, 100. You're probably thinking that's easy, or you're probably doing it already, which is great. Delete no less than 7 numbers in your phone, all you listeners. Delete as much as you want. In 21 days, you're going to get new numbers in your phone. Those numbers are going to help you mind, body, and soul. Now, this is the hard part, as Trevor said, and it's painful. You're gonna have to delete your friends. You're gonna have to delete some of your family members. I'm talking biologically, and probably those who are out there you class as family. Delete them. Your ex that you still see last night and last week, delete them. Yeah, because in 21 days, new numbers are going to come into your phone. The universe will move mountains for you. The universe will prevent events, circumstances, and people in your life that will shift you in a way, along with Trevor was saying, that will shift you in a way that you're thinking, wow, what took you so long? What took me so long? So that's all I'm going to say to end this note. But like I say, delete those numbers. It's going to be hard. As Trevor said, yes, it's pain because you're changing. You're changing. And also, not just changing, you're reforming. This is why the rap is this is why I emphasize the word rap in my MMARAP. We are reforming. We can change and still go the same direction, you know? But when you reform, you're evolving. If you've not changed in the last 5 years, then who are you?
And don't be afraid to step into that authentic place as well.
I love being uncomfortable, especially with skydiving. Yeah. You can't be comfortable in skydiving. You always got to be ready. Because when you're up in the sky, up in the air, the wind changes. You can't be in the same position from when you leave the aircraft. Well, you can, but obviously it comes with skills and disciplines. You have to be ready to change, to evolve, to reform. You have to. So for all you listeners, I appreciate you guys listening, everyone listening. I do hope you enjoyed the show, but go out there and be the best version of you. And if they don't like you, as my mum says, there's 3 F's in go away.
Just to add on to that, Esther, is I have a great theme that I use to remind myself when it comes to remedies and herbs. I understand the power in those herbs, how it can heal. And I have an old saying where it said, the bitter the medicine, the bitter the medicine, the better. My mom used to give me some serious herbs that I didn't like. The taste was terrible. But what I didn't realize was it was healing. So when you don't like something, it's something that's going to help and heal you. The bitter the medicine, the better. So that when I realized what my mother and father were doing, it was old tradition, but it made sense. Opening my mouth and shoving it in me, and I have no clue what I'm going in my mouth, but I knew it was something good. She said, you know what? Because it's bitter, it means it's better. And guess what?
As I say in the Caribbean, the bitter bush.
Exactly.
And don't forget the castor oil.
Exactly. And it's a process, Esther. It's just a process. Everybody on this call coming from different walks of life, but like our brother was saying, that you're not alone. If you believe you're alone, guess what? You're going to be alone.
You know, throughout that, and we're winding down now, and I just want to say a huge thank you to both of you because there's been such rich giving and conversation today. I almost feel this should be a part 2, and there will be a part 2 to keep expanding on this. But, you know, for those listening, you can contact both Johnny and Trevor. They've given their details, and I will put the details on the link on Facebook. And I just want to say thank you for both of you for your time. And it's interesting because throughout the conversation today, there were so many times when there was a song. There was a song for a lot of what you said. So, you know, I think we were talking about families, you know, Sister Sledge. There were so many songs that I felt came out of this conversation that were in alignment with what you were speaking about. Interesting. But yes, anyway, that's me babbling. Ladies and gents, just want to thank you all for listening to On the Sofa with Esther, Tuesday's Words of Wisdom. I've had Trevor and Johnny on the show with me. If you want to find out more about what they do, if you want to take up some of their services, their details are on Facebook. And next time, same place next week, I've got two more incredible people. And also do watch out for my Sunday show this coming Sunday. However, yes, no, not however. Next Sunday, I will be talking to Tim Owens from the Earth, Wind and Fire Experience band, the Alma K All Stars. It's a fantastic interview as they will be performing at the Uptown Festival in Norwich on the 9th of June. So thank you, gentlemen. And yeah, let's just keep rocking into authentic self. And just very quickly, I remember I only met Johnny 2 weeks ago. I had a meeting someplace. He walked in and he just gave me this word of prophecy. And I was like, I'm doing it. I'm listening. I'm listening. So, you know, it always sometimes takes a stranger to walk in and just see an area of your life that you may be struggling with or that you just need confirmation of. And we all have that capacity. But I believe once we work on ourselves, then we have more of that capacity that we can speak more into other people's lives because we are doing the work on ourselves. So thank you. Hope you've enjoyed the show. See you same time, same place next week. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.